went on and he did the Gap commercial. If anybody's never seen this, you should pull this up.
He had the FUBU hat on.
In the commercial, not only does he have the FUBU hat on, in his rap, he says, "For us, by us, on the low." He says this on television, and it's shocking to me that nobody at Gap, nobody at the advertising company, there's not anybody aware of what he's saying, yet they chose to hire that guy. So what they did was they looked at the popularity of what a rap artist could be, but never even understood the words that was leaving his mouth.
But that shows the disconnect between mainstream America and urban America.
What happened was the culture was moving so fast, and it was a language that was being created that they didn't understand. I remember MTV used to play videos, and guys are sitting there promoting their drug game right on the air, and nobody's even catching it. Jay was doing Big Pimpin', he'll sell by the night. It's Eggshell White. I got so many grams. The man find out. I'm like, they don't even know to bleep this out.
Right.
Like, they're not even there. But they're loving the popularity of it. You know, I mean, a lot of things have changed by, you know, now, because now they've kind of caught up to a lot of the language and everything else. But The Tanning of America is it's a very practical book, because there's an aspect of it that is a business book, right? So that anybody could read it and apply some of the principles against their career, and how to grow and become, you know, better at their job, or find the comfort in making a change if that's what you want to do. But it sort of it tells those stories through, or tells that principle through entertaining stories surrounding the culture that hip hop has created. And I go as far in the book to saying that, you know, hip hop has done more for race relations in America than anything since Martin Luther King.
You go so far as to compare hip hop to religion, and saying hip hop is in itself kind of a religion.
It has, you know, in order for something to be a religion, you just simply say, oh, it's a religion. A religion has to check certain boxes. There's certain criteria for a religion, right? And hip hop has very similar qualities, right? There's hierarchy, there's code, there's language, there's a dialect, there's a core belief. They have very similar attributes, and those attributes, I don't ever call hip hop a religion, but I say it checks the same aspects that qualifies a religion to be religion. And that's very important, because it's not the popularity of the music, right? Dance music is popular, but it doesn't check those boxes. Right? You just hit a record and you dispose it. And I'm not saying that hip hop doesn't have records that you could hear and dispose, but you can't dispose the culture. The videos that we all took for granted growing up, you know, Hype Williams was a visual architect of making things look incredible. He used to make the projects he used to light the projects up like it was Madison Square Garden. It gave people a different version of it, because if you looked at all those movies in the 70s and you look at the last generation's perception on African Americans, look how it looked. I mean, you can look at old movies right now and you probably turn your face, because you can't believe we were depicted that way. Right. And hip-hop videos did a lot in 4 minutes. They were tutorials about, yo, just because a guy wears hat down low don't mean that he's going to do something to you. That's just the way he dresses. But there was never that opportunity before. If somebody, you know, wore a mink jacket before, I'm sure you automatically called them a pimp. Right. We've gotten to a place now, and that's what tanning is. Tanning is a mindset. It's not about the physical DNA of, you know, interracial couples and relationships, but it's more about how this generation have a very similar mental complexion. So no longer could you look at somebody's ethnicity and then predetermine what drives them culturally.
What was the biggest mistake? Maybe that you didn't sign, somebody that you didn't sign.
Yeah, I said it, you know, somebody asked me that last night. I missed out on Alicia Keys. I could have signed Alicia Keys, and she came to my office when I first started Trackmasters in '96. And, you know, she didn't have the piano with her, and I didn't think to ask if she was playing the piano. I would never even think to ask that question. And I blew that.
The little girl with the cornrows and the acne, you just dissed it. Now look at her.
Yeah, I didn't even get into that.
Wasn't she signed to Columbia first, though, before?
No, she was. But I could have signed it. She was coming for a deal at Trackmasters. Okay. She ended up at Columbia somewhere else, and they actually signed her and dropped her. Yep. And they knew she had the piano. But that's a whole nother story. The same guy who dropped her dropped 50 Cent from Columbia. Wow.
That's because 50 Cent was too much trouble, they thought, after he went to jail.
Because Sony at that time was a company that truly didn't embrace African American and hip hop culture. They thought it was a trend. I mean, I brought Cash Money to Columbia Records, and they passed on the deal, and they had 5 albums on them.
Wow.
Day one. You remember that? I had Cash Money early, all of the whole thing, and they passed on it. I mean, that happens, right? You miss some, but the truth of the matter is, I ain't worrying about all of that. Me, I personally made that one error as a record executive, not signing Alicia Keys.
Now,
Now,
let
you
me.
said-
Oh, go ahead.
You say a lot of people don't put in the work anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of the record labels don't put in the work anymore either. They skip the process. It's no more artist development.
Yeah.
It's no more A&R, and they
That's
just
true,
grab
too.
these guys off the street. They got a hot record, throw them out there, throw them on the road.
It's the chicken and the egg. It's that kind of thing because, you know, they want you to develop that kind of buzz or groundswell on your own. So when you walk in, and all they got to do is, you know, hit go. And unfortunately, without artist development money and all that, you're going to have a hard time creating stars. I'm shocked. You know, if you ask me, Envy, how I look at the music business now, I'm shocked with not only with the lack of talent, but also with the lack of talent that's getting away with a lack of talent. People are still buying the songs. They're not buying the artists, they're buying the songs, which is much different, right? You're not buying into the artist's criteria or what they stand for. You're buying into the 3 minutes and 45 seconds that they give you now and then.
Dame Dash has said on numerous occasions that he wasn't too fond of you and that he didn't really like you.
That's unfortunate.
Now, why is that? Well, it's unfortunate for him right now. At this point, yeah, that's a bad move. But
It was always unfortunate.
But whatever happened with you and Dame?
You know,
I mean, I've seen things where he's yelling and cursing and screaming, and I just never got it.
I mean, he cursed and screamed at a lot of people. You ever seen an old man yell at a garbage can? That kind of person who's just like, they just want to get that off all the time. He was one of those kind of guys. I mean, he is one of those kind of guys. I hope he's changed now. He was upset at everybody, you know, all the time. And there were times where I'm sure he had a logical point of view, but most of the times he just had that kind of animosity built up in him. And, you know, as soon as he lost his way with Jay, you've seen nobody reached out and helped him because he had developed, you know, a lot of bad relationships in the industry. And it's unfortunate that it went down like that.
Yeah, Dame Dash is FUBU, man. Like, it's a brand that can never come back.
But they're bringing FUBU back.
Nah, nobody's wearing FUBU anymore.
Call Kanai would have been a better joke.
Call Kanai.
Kanai.
But nobody remembers Call Kanai. Are there any new artists you see out there that you could brand with something right now?
Yeah. You know, I really like Nicki Minaj. I think she's a very special talent.
You think she's gonna be around?
Yeah, I think she's gonna be around as a personality. I think that she needs to make, you know, music that comes from, you know, the essence of hip hop. I think she's a good lyricist, but because she got the pop lane so fast, she's taking it. But I do believe, you know, if I was working with her, I would ask her to make some more records that, you know, that has a balance. Yeah, from the heart, that has some balance, deep, you know, depth in its meaning. Because she does have an opportunity to have a long career. I think she's very talented and brings something new and dynamic to the music game. Honestly, her, Drake, I mean, everything they're doing over at, you know, Cash Money, Young Money.
You get Drake his own line of nail polish, men's nail polish.
Stop it.
I can
Stop
see that
it.
happening.
Stop it.
No, I don't know about, I mean, but he did that thing with Sprite, which was cool. I think they could do more with that. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Theater of America, get it now. Steve Stoute. It's the Breakfast Club on Power 105.1.
Thank you very much.